Welcome to Module 2 of the 5 Travel Penticton Daily Special Training modules. Each of these modules has been specially created for you, the Penticton culinary community, to help to support in the way that we're all using social media to achieve our goals together. This module looks at storytelling on social media. Social media content is something that just about everyone is creating, and it's also a challenge for many businesses because we have so many different priorities that occupy our time. It can also be a challenge to carve out the space that it takes to create great content. So I don't have a magic wand that will transform your news feeds overnight, but what I can do is share with you what Travel Penticton has planned and how that can benefit you as a local business, as well as a few simple practices that you can incorporate into your marketing and that may step both your quality and efficiency up. Now, great content is the result of great planning. Yes, social media is about having fun in the moment and about sharing the things that we're passionate about. But when we build a plan that includes what we're going to create and why, it actually liberates us to be more creative and have more fun with our content. The process that I'm about to show you here has been refined over time by many different brands and creators. So as I go through this various steps, I encourage you to be thinking not about how you can follow it exactly, but about how you could adapt it to fit with your unique situation and your brand. So I'm going to start by pointing out a few examples of content produced here in Penticton. Now, this is a classic example of a collaboration piece. You may have seen it. It tells the story of a community and the people who make it special. The video was only possible because of the collaborative nature that already exists here in Penticton. It's also because of everyone's willingness to work together. The video itself is straightforward. So what made it successful was the planning and the pieces that were put together in order to tell the story. A piece like this is much more than a simple video. It's something that any of us can pull off with no more than the cameras on our phones and some free editing software. You can create something similar by reaching out to the businesses or the people in your inner circle and finding a way that would tell a story that would benefit you all. Then, when you're working together, try squeezing out every drop of content that you can. Snap photos, collect Instagram stories, write a post about the experience. Now, sometimes the most valuable content that we can create is not actually a beautiful story, but it's utility. For example, when the wildfires were happening, there were a lot of misinformation out there. So Penticton tried to set the record straight and gave people real firsthand accounts of what was going on. Now, the videos weren't polished or professionally produced, and perhaps because of that, people engaged and they shared, and ultimately they were appreciative. Now, utility doesn't have to be all bad news, right? For example, in surfing towns, it's updates. In a mountain town, it's a snow report. In Penticton, where produce, wine, beer, and outdoor activities are some of the world's finest, the question is, what utility can you create? This screenshot shows what happens when you build your content from a well-crafted series of content buckets. We're going to cover the details of how these content buckets are used effectively in just a moment, but first, I want you to notice how Travel Penticton is able to publish content to its Instagram account that consistently represents a balance of the variety of activities and businesses, the physical surroundings that all make Penticton special. That's because they plan ahead using content buckets, which makes it easier for them to collect user-generated content, to collaborate with partners, and to create original pieces. The success of the Daily Special campaign and of Travel Penticton's digital marketing in general depends on the quality of the content and the value that we're able to deliver together. So here's an easy method that many great content producers use to plan their content and to make their lives easier. Start with content buckets. So what are the 3 to 5 consistent categories of content that you're going to want to create to tell your story? For most of us, the first bucket is going to relate to a product. That could be a plate, it could be a glass or a series of ingredients. People want to know what we're passionate about and the products that you're putting out into the world, and that's reflected in your social media content. The second category that you'll likely consider is your people. This doesn't have to mean a series of selfies. It can be the story of why people choose to work at your business, what makes your people unique, or it could just be the interesting things that they get up to in their daily lives. Third, for most culinary brands, will be the experience. People want to know how they're going to feel when they interact with you, what it's going to be like. Experience is essential in social media marketing because everyone now has access to pretty plate photos, but your experience is something that no one can replicate. So that could be something special about your property. It could be the way that you welcome people in, or it could be the unboxing experience that people have when they receive a shipment of your products. The fourth common bucket is where Penticton and Daily Special really have an advantage. Community as a content category is about the businesses, the people, and the organizations that you appreciate and who you collaborate with. It could be as simple as a retailer that's carrying your products. It could be a farm that's supplying your ingredients, or the place down the street that your staff all goes after their shift. A community like Penticton thrives when it collaborates. And if everyone commits to making a regular practice of creating just a couple of stories about the community each month, the impact will be remarkable. And finally, we get to our fifth suggested content bucket, and that's education. There's such an incredible wealth of expertise in this community and a desire among the target audience to learn that it would be a shame not to put those things together. So education content can be as simple as a recipe post. It could be an Instagram story that shows how an ingredient is made, or it could be the definition of a commonly misunderstood concept. Like a great recipe, the right combination of content buckets is going to be different for each business. So take some time to consider what the right mix will be for you. Then when it comes to the actual creation of your content, there are a few pieces of guidance that I can share with you. These will not only result in high quality pieces, but following this system will make content creation a simple, repeatable task that you can build on and repeat over time. So whether it's a photo, a video, a story, or an original design, always start by answering the question, what's the story? In other words, why will people care and what will make them stop to pay attention? Next, clarity is key. The most successful content is all easy to understand and quickly and clearly conveys its message. Clarity comes from planning and from staging. Find a way to place your subject front and center and use the 1-second test. If you were scrolling through your feed and stopped for just 1 second, would it be clear about what this post is about? Then once a clear piece is planned, we want to keep it clean. In photography, this is about decluttering the background, using symmetry and lines to create a sense of order and balance. In video, many of the same elements exist, but it's also about finding ways to remove background noise and making sure that the message of the video isn't lost in the clutter of the other things going on. The goal of every piece of content should be to remove anything that doesn't contribute to the story. So finally, consider how your piece of content contributes to the overarching story. So that story is your brand. So how will this piece build people's understanding of who you are? Next, of Penticton in general, when people see this, how will it help them to know about Penticton? And finally, about Daily Special. When it's out in the world, how will it contribute to the story of the fresh, collaborative culinary community that you're a part of? All of the advice that I've just shared is meant to make your social media content creation easier rather than more restrictive. So look at all of these lessons as best practices that have worked for other businesses in the past. And like the way you run the rest of your business, the best outcomes will come from learning about what's worked well in the past and putting your own spin on it. The key is going to be to do that together, to see social media as an opportunity to lift each other up and to tell the story of this amazing place and Daily Special to the world. So be sure to check out the resources for this module included on the webpage and do the exercise, which will put the information in this module directly to work for your business and your participation in the Travel Penticton Daily Special Marketing Program. Once you've done the exercise and completed the short quiz for this module, move on to the next modules in this program to gain further skills and insights for benefiting your business.